Adventurers! We are today in LaConner, which is a cute little town near Mount Vernon in Washington. I'll put up a little map here. My mom's employer, which is also a very good friend of ours, actually gave her this wonderful Christmas gift.
It's a night in the hotel here at LaConner, and Amy and I have been dying to come here and do some filming, so this is perfect. Thank you, Nate and Sonia. We're gonna have a good time.
I've come here once before with some friends. My friend Suzanne said that this area reminded her of like a small town in Maine, which is really cool. We've never actually been to Maine, so if we need to go to Maine, we can just come here to LaConner.
Yep, we're in Maine today.
Exactly.
It's just in Washington.
So we found a couple of museums. Also, just there's a lot of little shops, so we'll definitely wander along the main street and see what we can find.
I saw a thrift shop.
Yes, there's a really good thrift shop here. Apparently, there's a few really good seafood places, and you actually don't find a lot of good seafood places up here in Washington.
Which is weird.
We're always wanting to try the seafood when we find a seafood restaurant. Behind us is the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, actually I've never been over it. I don't really know what it goes to, but it's kind of cool looking.
It goes to somewhere over the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Very nice.
So it was a trading post up until 1869 when John and his wife Louisa Ann bought the trading post, and they named the town after the wife, whose name was Louisa Ann Connor, so La Connor.
L.A.
Super.
Connor. Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So now we're gonna head over to the Pacific Northwest Quilt and Fabric Arts Museum. It's $7 to get in, and it's a little bit of a walk from the main road, but not too bad. And it's in this gorgeous Victorian building. Can you tell me about the mansion?
You bet. It was built in 1891 by a gentleman by the name of Gaseous from England. It was the first mansion on the hill. His family lived here for a few years, and then he and his brother sold out and they moved down to Seattle. This mansion then became again a private home. It was bought by a doctor and became the first hospital in Skagit County. And then, like happens to a lot of old Victorians, it became a boarding house. And in the 1970s, a boarder fell asleep with a cigarette and burned down the whole top floor.
Oh gosh.
And if you go to the back in the library, you'll be able to see pictures of the fire actually as it was taking place.
Oh, that's scary.
And it sat there open to the winds and weather for a long time. And then this community, which is very civic-minded, decided that wasn't acceptable, and they got the city to buy it and redo the top floor. And it was open for people to come through just to see a Victorian house until the Quilt Museum bought it 22 years ago. The paint is all Victorian authentic. It was Victorian colors.
Oh, wow.
The wallpaper borders are all designed specifically for this house, and so they're faithful to Victorian design as well. And Sybil can show you the sliding doors that are original to the mansion. There's 3 sets of 10-foot tall, I think 10-foot tall sliding doors.
And they did a terrific job of staining the floor to match these doors, because these have had nothing put on. This is an after the these are almost 100 years old.
wow.
And it just stays in good shape.
Yeah, just like this.
The Sybil Jensen kitchen.
Hey,
which I
it's
think
your
is so weird kitchen.
At one time, we had it furnished, and we had a stove, we had a kitchen queen, we had a dry sink, and we had all kinds of those huge cast iron vessels, those
Yeah.
great big ones. But as soon as she came, you said, "Oh, this is the kitchen." But now it's turning into
It looks like a library.
Yeah, it is today.
It's gorgeous.
It's really nice as a library, though.
Yeah, it is.
1865 is when it was made?
Yes, we have the red and white because it's for Christmas. It's called the Mariner's Compass. But isn't that something?
Oh,
Do
we
you
have-
change this around then when it's not the home?
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, it will be taken down.
Okay.
But it's just a fabulous quilt.
It is gorgeous. It looks almost 3D.
I want help.
But the light was so poor. How could they do this tiny, tiny stitching? If you get off on one stitch, you've ruined the whole pattern.
And how long does something like this take to make?
Especially 150 years ago.
In candlelight.
Yeah.
160 years ago. Yeah, isn't that something? It's just beautiful.
sampler usually would just be the alphabet, but this one shows all the different kind of stitches that you can do.
Would everybody have one of these, or?
All the girls had to do a sampler because this teaches you how to do all the sewing that you do the rest all your life because you have to make everything.
This is a Victorian cradle, super fancy. Oh, and there's the Rainbow Bridge, and they were telling us downstairs, especially Sybil was telling us, that there's this walk along the waterfront that apparently people, when they come to visit La Conner, they love to walk along the waterfront, which makes sense, especially down there on the main street, because it's really cute. And a lot of fishermen come in and out of here, including across the way is the Swinomish Tribe Reservation, and they have a lot of fishermen over there, and there's a lot of fishermen that come in and out of here. So they've got a pretty large marina with quite a lot of boat traffic. So the waterfront is very important to La Conner here. So this guy, Craig, is the one that painted this here at the top of this like cupola.
In 1978.
In 1978, and he was 21 at that time?
21 years old, he painted this.
Then he went on to become the writer, producer, and director of the Nickelodeon show Hey Arnold. So if my 90s babies remember Hey Arnold, it's kind of a neat little bit of history that came from La Conner. So what'd you think of the museum?
I want to come again, especially when the Japanese quilt makers come in the summer.
The master quilter.
Because there was one quilt here that was Japanese and it's beautiful, so I want to come and see the master quilter. But this place, it's 3 stories, there are steps, there's no elevator, but I took it slow and easy for my knees.
Yeah, and it's not too overwhelming. It's just a really nice, well laid out museum. And the nice thing about it is that the ladies here are super friendly and they're very helpful. So they told us a lot about the museum. They told us a lot about
restaurants in town.
Yeah, they gave us all the suggestions for the restaurants in town. They told us a lot about La Conner. They were very helpful and friendly here. So I recommend this museum. If you're in the area, it's totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Felt like the $7 price was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the waterfront walkway. Public boardwalk. That would be a great place to do your taxes.
I know.
Right here. And then when you feel like going off into your boat, you just come out and go off in your boat. That's insane. Scone lady. Ooh, raspberry.
Toffee chocolates.
Marionberry, lemon, blueberry, tart lemon. Ooh, sounds good. So now I'm trying this scone from the Scone Lady. It's Marionberry scone. It's really soft and delicious. So good. So this is the Museum of Northwest Art, and it's not Northwest Indian art, but just art of the Northwest. And apparently this is a really amazing museum. The ladies at the Quilt Museum were telling us, for being such a small town, they have 3 amazing museums. And this is free admission. So we like that price. And they have really cool museum stores, what I've also read. So then, but if you look, like, this is the mother, and the flower is withered and dead. Then this is her daughter's hand, and her flower is blooming.
That's very, very nice.
See, it's a bad angle. Hold on. Okay, wait, tell me your favorite.
It's the one over here. The big tall one. It's,
Oh, this one over here?
for some reason that really captures everything I feel about this artist.
Yeah, it's got definitely all the different panels.
I love this. I love this. This is a duplicate of that. That's a duplicate on there. That's probably a duplicate of something, the foot, one of the feet and one of the arms. I mean,
Yeah, and she actually uses her actual photos of herself doing these poses as
so I
Like
love
a-
this. You know, instead of drawing it, she takes pictures and then draws it.
Okay, which one's my favorite then?
Okay, your favorite. Kind of thinking that purple one.
Nope.
No. Mother-daughter?
I do like that one, but that's not my favorite.
Okay.
Mom
Best.
finally guessed it was the last one. I just think it's beautiful, and I think it's incredible. I love the name of it is Breathe, and I think that's very interesting interpretation. Yeah, so what you do is you can decide which pictures you want to choose for your exhibit, and then you can then just place them in one of these sections here. So then you decide, like this one is a good example. A gentleman came here by the name of Don, and he created his exhibit using these pictures from that box, and then he named it. He's called it The Storm Before the Quiet. So that's what you can do, is you could create your own exhibit in one of these sections if you
That is
wanted.
cool.
And that's cute. Give you a chance to be a art curator or a museum curator. So we heard that the LeConner Tavern is really cool because it has a lot of the fishermen's plaques on the bar. Mom got a cider
Virtue cider.
because she's virtuous.
And it's cherry.
And I got kitten mittens from our very own Colshan. Okay, so you know I'm obsessed with clam chowder, so of course I had to try their clam chowder. But this place is known for their fish and chips, so we're also getting an order of fish and chips. The clam chowder is really creamy and has a nice clammy flavor, which I love. So I'm really enjoying the clam chowder. This is freaking beautiful. Look how big these are. They're like the size of my hand. They're gorgeous. They look good.
That looks
Coleslaw looks good. French fries look good. Everything looks good.
Fries are good. They got a little bit of crunch on them.
Or the-
And
you like
they
the tartar
actually
sauce?
taste good in the tartar sauce.
Mom's liking the tartar sauce is for the fish, Mom.
I like it on my fries, daughter.
Eat the fish.
What do you think?
Very good. Amazing fish. Beautifully cooked. The fish is fresh and it's flaky and it's delicious. So that was really nice. Great place to stop. The service was incredible, so we were very happy with the service. So if you get a chance, the LeConner Tavern is amazing. So we're gonna go check into our hotel now, the Heron Inn, and we might go out to dinner later on tonight, but we might just relax. We'll see.